XRP is up 15% for this week. And that's just the starting point of this. We had the reversal pattern, we broke higher, we are trending higher. If you break it down, this is what you actually see. What does it look like? You are creating a short-term trend to the upside. As you zoom out, you kind of get a little bit more clarity on that, showing the possibility of the continuous run. It can be just a consolidation and then a move to the upside for sure, because the pattern which we are observing here is critical to this. The measured move is 30%, which would actually take that to the upside. And that also goes in line with the wave structure we've been talking about. Now, go on a medium to macro chart, on a 3-day chart, it kind of gives you this narrative which is clear. And if you take the time to analyze what was happening here, if you take the time to analyze what was happening here, that now becomes something really important to look forward to, because that's the exact same thing what we are watching right now. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While we actually look through the fundamentals, technicals and all, something which actually got my attention recently, I'm like, okay, this guy saying the sell-off is just the end of month profit taking, don't get discouraged. So I'm like, okay, maybe there is something wrong, and that's how things usually work. But one of the primary thing which I would like to highlight before we jump back into the charts is financial education is critical right now. The greatest wealth transfer in the history is happening, and if you can even stand in that way, you can attract some. It is really important to understand the fundamentals of the assets which you are in, because on the other side, it doesn't really look good. If you actually look at what's happening, they're talking about this openly. And when you go on the charts looking at all of these major banks, most of them are already collapsing, 40-50% down, right? So you are watching things evolving. Then we recently saw the news for XDC, and we saw that pumping to the upside. Now, going back like a month back, right? We had the thought process, okay, we're going to go up, we're going to come back down, and then we're going to bounce back. So if we zoom in, this is how it actually looks like, right? We went up, we corrected back down, now we're going to the upside. And back then, I actually shared the thought process here saying like, okay, this is at the support, and it was positive for the bulls, because usually, historically speaking, while we zoom in, you kind of get this perspective. Whenever you drop to this level, bulls enter, and that was 15th, right? Today, it's 31st. You got the news. It was like the price was waiting for the news to come in, and it just popped. So that's something to look for, because in the market right now, there is a lot happening, especially with some of these cryptos. You need to actually understand the world is changing. The macro scenario is evolving. So if you actually take your time to go through all of this and understand the possibilities coming at us, now you have a great edge in the market because you're positioned well enough. And on the other side, if you're just focused on the short-term price fluctuation, it can burn you. Meaning if you go in leveraged and all, it's going to be hard, because right now we are so clear that XRP is following a pattern. Let it be the short-term, let it be the micro, let it be the medium. We are watching the exact same pattern evolve inside this, right? Whether it was the first run to the upside here, just about 40%. Whether it's the next rally here, which was like 30%. So if you are measuring what we are looking at right now, it actually gives you a clear move of 30% to the upside, or just about that. So imagine, okay, it's going to correct back down. It's going to come back down to this previous breakout range, and that would be a textbook pattern, retracement and bounce off. But I wouldn't actually bet they're saying like, okay, it's going to come back exactly to this range and bounce, because by this time, if we are watching this, a lot of other people would, or at least should be, looking at this same thing too, because this is what the market actually shows you. And at that point, when the price drops, I think there is going to be FOMO coming in. But the key here is Bitcoin movement. If you remember what we talked about in last 3-4 videos, we actually shared this thought process of this trend line resistance, right? And for something that's still a trend line resistance. So you're getting rejected at that particular range, you're coming back down, and if you remember the next range we highlighted, while we were going up and getting rejected, this was the resistance. Right now, that is acting as a support. So it's crucial right now to look at that particular area to see whether we are bouncing off, whether we are showing strength. Because if we show divergence, that means, okay, there is a possibility evolving. Right now, we don't have a divergence. We are trying to push this to the upside, but we haven't actually got that level of energy in the market, because to say like the bulls are becoming stronger, we need a breakout. Right now, we are not watching that. Now you jump onto the side of Ether, right? You're like, okay, this is the altcoin side of things. And I would really like to see whether altcoins are actually going to get the push. We are not yet there at the resistance. So we still have some room to move to that direction. But then you come look at XRP, and on a short-term narrative, it kind of clearly shows you, okay, I'm slowing down here. I'm slowing down. Yesterday, we had a thought process shared around midnight saying, okay, I think this is a roof. We may actually get some correction. We may go back down. Now, if it comes to 0.48, that's going to be a great range. If it comes back to 0.47, that's again something positive. But one of the easiest thing you can look at is the trend line. Again, the support trend line here in the RSI, kind of showing you the route to look for. When it's at support, more or less, that's what you actually get. But if you rely on the short-term chart, that's going to be painful, because usually the short-term actually relies on the higher time frame structure. So it's better to look at least a daily chart. And for XRP right now, the daily chart actually shows you a steep structure. So if we don't get a bounce from here, which is going to be the moving average on the RSI as well, now we are looking for some more downside, right? But believe me, I don't actually think like we're going to this route, right? Unless we give critical signal of reversal. But if Bitcoin is about to get rejected from here, say break of this pattern comes in, you go lower, now it's still positive. Say, why do I say that? You look at the Bitcoin and say, okay, we're going to drop somewhere here. That's like 10-12% drop. And when that drops, usually XRP drops harder, or the altcoin market drops harder. So take that perspective. Imagine, okay, Bitcoin is about to drop 10-12%. That would mean we're going to come like 15%, which will be 0.43. Say we are going to do way more than that, and we're going to do 20% correction. Still, we are at 0.4. Why? Because we just ran up recently. We just got room to drop to the downside if Bitcoin decides to drop. Now, when it drops, if it is dropping slowly, that is going to be important to watch. You can watch that on a 4-hour chart or a 12-hour chart here and see how we move. If it's a steep move down, that's concerning. But if it's something like this, slowly rounding back up, that would actually show you a divergence, most likely somewhere here. Like say, for example, while we were slowing down at the bottom here, the RSI did show you like, nah, things are changing, I'm moving up, right? So if you get something like that, close to 0.48 or 0.46, now that's a signal the market is giving you like, buddy, I'm going up. If you want to join the party, join the party. Because this happens all the time. The price goes down at a time when the RSI goes up. Boom. You were in, you got that move to the upside. Now, it's not something which only happens on the short-term narrative, because when you go into the market actually gives you the clear thought process of, buddy, I'm actually trying to move back up. That's one of the things which we have discussed back here when the price actually showed you a divergence, the same here at the top, the same here. Almost all the time that works. Now, what's more important right now is the daily close which we just got here. Yes, that's a hanging man candle which completely shows you, okay, we are up for a corrective action. But that's a daily chart. What's more important for you to look inside XRP to see where we are going? What's the trajectory? For me, I strongly believe the monthly candle shows you the best possible outcome. And if you actually come on here, take the chart from the Binance here for XRP and just zoom in to see what the price action is showing you right now. I'm like, that's massively bullish. If you have watched like the last four or five videos, we went through that scenarios, like how this can evolve. And right now, getting that monthly close here, just like this, I'm like, it's bullish. It's not a candle which is like a hanging man, or it's not something which is showing you much of a bearishness. It is showing you the price came down to 0.4, but bulls entered the market and pushed that back to the upside. So if the current candle drops, I would say this range is going to be a top level of support. Why? Because you go look at this range and you can actually say like this literally acted as a support zone. So if the price is coming back down to 0.8, 0.48 or say 0.47, that is going to be some level a lot of sellers and buyers are going to fight for. And I definitely believe buyers are going to win that range. Now, I can be wrong, but what's more important is to look for the trend lines which the market suggests you, because sometimes it happens like this. That's the support, that's the resistance. So when you actually break that, while you come back down, that most likely will act as a support. But the key range here would be like, okay, look at the comparison between XRP to Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin is dropping and XRP Bitcoin shows you it has some room to the upside, it's fine. So here, while you look at the downside, I would say, okay, that's like 5 to 6% downside on the XRP BTC. So when we drop, yeah, we are going to drop for sure. That's just a corrective leg. As you can see, it's just a move to the upside, consolidation, a move to the upside, most likely a retest or consolidation, and then most likely the next bounce. Why? You go onto a weekly chart, right? This is something easy. Right now, what we are watching is price evolving in a way that it is testing a resistance. Now, getting a weekly close here would be great for XRP BTC, showing XRP is gaining strength, just like we described here with this particular candle. And now it's slowly bouncing back up. While we understand the fact that, okay, this is the range of resistance and some range of support, that's still somewhere close to the bottom. Look at this. This is where we are going. That's massive. Now, why is that massive? Because if you actually look at the short-term to medium-term trend line, you'll see something like this. The possibility of Bitcoin bouncing through, right? And then XRP leading way above that. Now, think about this. There's an even longer time horizon. This actually shows either, now you can actually draw this like a couple of different ways. You can reduce the noise like this, and using that line chart, you can argue that, okay, this is what I see. And I wouldn't actually, fight with that, because the trend line actually matches up on the line chart like this, suggesting we are here on the rising trend line, and this previous resistance has turned into a support. So a bounce back from here would be bullish. Meaning you're now looking for a macro run to the upside. It can be 5, 10, 15x in terms of XRP USD. Here, in XRP BTC, you're still watching the price can do a 10x. And that definitely means XRP on the USD side of things is going to bring in some attention, is going to bring in some movement, which would be actually crazy, right? Because a lot of people were giving you the thought process of, nah, let's wait, we are going to go somewhere here. We'll actually follow the past. But what a lot of people don't understand the fact is like, yeah, agreed. We have been in the market for a long period of time. 100%, I agree that. I've been in the market from 2017. But how many of you were in the market during 2017? That's a best easy question to ask yourself. And if you think, nah, it's only a little bit of people who are back in there. Now, the market doesn't play according to you. The market plays with the majority, the psychology of the majority. So if you think, okay, compared to 2017, I believe there's a lot of people who are in the current rally from 2021, then the market psychology which you should be looking at is 2021. That is the primary reason why we actually went through all these charts and gave you the thought process. Now, at the same time, I would also like to highlight the fact that, yeah, if you actually look at the stock market, now people are saying, okay, NVIDIA is bouncing through, it's through the roof. But think about where it was and where it is right now. So while it was at the 177 range, I was saying, okay, these are some of the stocks I'm looking at. These are like undervalued, blah, blah, blah. And now it's at 400. So it already did a 120% to the upside, right? We had the call on Netflix at the bottom. Now, it's a really, really painful to call at the bottom, because at that time, price is dropping massively. Psychology, emotion, everything is against you. So it's really hard. But my thought process was clear. if you believe the world is not going to end tomorrow, this trend line, which is valid for like last 20 years, is going to be the support. Now, where is it now? Right? At that time, we called it at 170 or just close to that. And right now it's at 400. So you literally made money there, right? On a stock in the market, which a lot of people were thinking like is overvalued. Why? Because you understood the market psychology. Then here it's Samsung, which kind of shows you like, it's something like Netflix. At that time, it was like 1,000 and right now it's at 1,400, close to that. So the market is showing you signals which you can learn from the recent past and the long-term scenario. Difference is in stock market, the company buybacks happen. You can actually look at the financials and understand how much they are buying back, the shareholders' equity, how they are moving. Like most of these shareholders are long-term guys, right? And that is why in stock market, you get to see historical price action repeating. But in the crypto market, you kind of see a rinse and repeat again, where not a lot of people still exist in the market from 2013, 2015 and all. It's going to be really like a minute percent of people. So if you were in the market in 2016, 2017, you already saw that pattern, the psychology. Now, we will have some taste of that here, but the recent past will definitely matter. Now, when you go back here and you look at XRP, you'll actually be able to see like, okay, before we actually reversed, we showed this pattern, right? It's a rounded reversal pattern, which is what we are actually watching right now in this inverse head and shoulders. So if you pay attention, close attention, you are now getting a little bit of edge in the market. You got an inverse head and shoulder here, you went up, right? Your measured move was not that big. If you actually plot that, was showing you like somewhere around 190% move is coming up. And what happened? You did a little bit less than that. Fine. But you still moved up, and if you were planning to take profits, you did somewhere close to that 0.72, 0.73 range because the SEC case came in. Otherwise, we would have bursted through that level. That's what I strongly believe, right? And now, when you're back in the market on a monthly chart, look at the RSI. Now, if you want to basically, reduce the noise, this doesn't look bad in any way, in any form in my eyes. I definitely believe XRP is taking off on a monthly chart. On a monthly chart, XRP doing the 1, 2, 3, 4 and the 5th month, which is just starting now. You have a long time to play out, but most likely when you actually get 2 or 3 candles after a massive trend to the downside and a move, that shows you like, okay, something is happening. You may slow down a bit in a candle, but then you burst through the sky, right? So if that burst is starting here, ask that question to yourself. Are you willing to take the risk, believing, okay, this is going to go down and I'm going to buy at the lower end? Or will you think it like, okay, I'll wait for this level. If that breaks, I'm going in, right? For me, that makes sense. Now, as an investor, you should be asking the same question to yourself. If the momentum is shifting and the momentum is actually pointing you to the upside, will you choose that direction or not? Because short term, you'll still see the drama. Meaning, on a weekly, it seems like, okay, next week is going to be bullish. Great. But you have 7 days. So a couple of days can be slow. Or even 3 days can be slow, and the 4th day, it can actually raise all these, right? So short term, you go into the market on a 4-hour chart, it shows you there is some sellers entering into the market. So you may actually see some kind of slowdown. So take the same perspective in the Bitcoin side of it. It is showing you, no, the bulls are slowly trying to enter the market, right? You go on a daily and it says, nah, the sellers are still prevailing. So 4-hour on the short term, if you are trading that micro moves, this is what matters, right? But when you are a macro guy, the investor, the long-term guy, now you're looking for the macro reversal. And the Bitcoin is actually showing you the weekly. It is trying to stay positive. And that actually shows you, okay, there is something evolving, right? On the monthly side of things, we went up, we're slowing down. We may actually get some consolidative price action. And that's still great. After the move up, coming a little bit back down before the next leg up is great. It's going to be perfect. But will the FOMO allow us? That's the biggest question I'm asking myself. If we are watching all those things, the banks collapsing around the globe and whatever we went through today, I think there is like massive stuffs happening right now. Massive, right? That's not just in one commodity. I'm looking through the gold, the oil, the dollar. everything kind of shows you this is something coming on our way. And that means there will be a lot of people moving into the sphere of crypto. So most of the dips here is going to be buy the dips, and a lot of institutions are going to buy in. But when someone who says it's going to go down, has to change the tone saying like, nah, it's going to go up, it's going to go up. At that time, you would see the market psychology pushing the price lower. It's going to be a short-term move for sure. Those who think will buy those dip at the key support. And that's where, if it's me, I would say like, okay, this is the trend line which we just discussed. If you're breaking through that one, now you barely have a support level here. After that, you're literally looking for a big tight range close to 24,000, after which it's barely 22. So that's going to be a major range to look out and watch out for June. If it actually goes through, it may go through steadily and fast. But if you actually get divergence forming in the price action, like the price action showing you a lower low at a time and the RSI showing you a higher low, it may not actually dump to this bottom, maybe somewhere close to in between this range. But wherever we get that, we're going to follow these on a regular basis and inform you guys what we are doing. Say we bought in a lot of assets when they were undervalued, they started bouncing a little bit. Now, if you get another opportunity, you can seize that opportunity. So if you are looking for that kind of opportunities, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.